Okay, we are live.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live stream, and with me is a special guest, HT Doodles.
Well, thank you for having me here today. I'm actually kind of excited for this, my first podcast.
Oh, that's
So,
good. It's a bit early, so I don't know if there'll be much viewers, but yeah. Got a few questions for you.
oh, okay. Hopefully, I'm ready to answer. Hopefully, I have an answer for all your questions.
All right. What inspired you to be a comic artist?
Well, actually, it all started with manga at first. I've been, you know, so I've been reading a lot of manga before, and I think it's what started it all basically. Then I moved on to the IDW comics, like the Sonic IDW comics, and that's what really inspired me to start making comics. And thus my comic was born. Bleak Circumstances. It's been almost a year now, and it's still in its first issue.
Well, you can't rush genius. And what inspired Bleak, the character Bleak? What inspired him? I mean, like, for you to your character
For
in
me,
general.
as in like to create and once by the design and everything.
Yeah,
So I don't know. Do you watch do you know an anime called Bleach?
I know of it. I have yet to watch it.
Okay, so I don't know if this counts as spoilers or not, but this is a there's a character actually from that anime. He's one of the antagonists, and he goes by the name of Ukiura Shifa. He's he's what you can call a nihilistic character. He's like this character who hasn't got a heart, like physically does not have a heart. He's got like this giant hole in his chest. He does not feel anything. He doesn't know what emotions are. He only has like one facial expression and like tears drooping down his eyes. And, that sort of emo-ish design basically. And that's from an appearance standpoint, basically. And when it comes to powers, he's like one of the most powerful characters in the series. And so he's like basically my favorite character from the entire series. And so there was this, at one point, I was like listening to music outside in the garden, like just imagining some sort of fight scene in my head. And it just came to me that, you know what? I'm gonna make a character based on Ulquiorra, basically. I'm gonna make a character that sort of resembles him in many aspects, like maybe have him be nihilistic, have him be super powerful, overpowered, maybe like give him one facial expression, all that sort of stuff. And that's when I just started, trying to come up with a design, and that's how Bleak was born, basically. The same
Huh?
goes for his backstory, actually. Yeah.
Ah, cool. Um, Bleak's design now, was that the original design, or did you have to go through several different designs?
I think there's actually this isn't how I started out. Actually, there is I do have one concept of, and let me just see if I can find it. Actually, if I can send it to you on Discord, on it. He The general idea was the same. Like he only had one expression in that, but like maybe a few of the marks on his face changed, or his jacket was a little bit different. His shoes were a little bit different. I think maybe the hairs at the back of his head had a different shape as well. I think they were more like a bit more rough around the edges. Let's see. I think I have him right here. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this was his very. This was the very first sort of character sheet I made. It was just a sketch anyway. So I'm just gonna send it here, and it should be arriving in a second now. And there we go.
Oh,
So he's not too far off from what he looks like now, but some of the marks have changed, and some of the his jacket looked a little bit different. You see, he's got these like buckles in the middle. His shoes were kind of like bland. There weren't actually any, like there weren't any distinctive features. Not like now, anyway.
oh, cool. Regardless, they're both cool.
Still prefer the later one.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure everyone does. All right. Yeah, Sebastian went through a lot of different designs. At first, he was a hedgehog.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. He's what you call the god of darkness. He has a full backstory and everything. It's like several pages long. I wouldn't want to read it out to you. It'd be kind of boring. Um, but yeah, so with the IDW comics, he wanted to be a comic artist. Bleak was based off of Bleach. Speaking of which, you named him Bleak. Why Bleak?
Yeah, when it comes to the name, actually, that was kind of the hardest part of the whole thing because at first I was aiming to go for a name that started with U, which was like because see all Kyoto like starts with U, so it's I tried to come up with something similar, and I started actually googling a few names that start with U. I was trying to find names that symbolize darkness or symbolize like something like nihilism or something, and in the end, I was just lost because I couldn't find any like cool sounding names. I just couldn't find anything, and then I'm not actually sure how I came up with the name Bleak, like how I decided to name him that. But I think maybe it came from the comic title. I think I came up with the comic title first, and then I was like, Bleak, that sounds really. I think that would suit him, and then I just went with that.
Huh. Well, that's understandable.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where did I ask? Why don't you tell us about yourself as a person, not as the character?
So myself as a person, let's see.
If you
So I
feel
go,
comfortable.
yeah, sure, no problem. So I go by the name HT Doodles on Twitter. HT are like the first, are like the first letters of my name. So I'm 23 years old. I live in Tunisia, and I'm a student. I'm a student pilot, and at the same time, an aeronautical engineer student. So I'm studying in two fields that have to do with aviation, basically.
Oh, cool.
And I think that's pretty much it. But can't really think of it. I can't really think of anything else interesting other than like I like art, I like art, I like aviation. Um, what else? What else? What else? I'm a black belt taekwondo. What else? I think that's pretty much it. Actually, yeah.
Black belt taekwondo. Okay, don't mess with this guy, people.
It's a
Don't
good
mess
thing
with
we're
this.
behind screen. It's a good thing we're behind screens, right?
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is
Okay.
to know, really.
Share what you got to know. All right. Let's see. What else do we have to ask here? There's not many in the audience to ask anything. So, his backstory, is that based off anything, or is that like completely just set up in your mind?
Well, it is kind of based on Okura's story. Kind of like it's okay. So for those who've seen the comic and like who know the comic, there's going to be some spoilers, so no worries. Uh, so basically, Bleak didn't always look the way he did now. Like this isn't his actual. This isn't how he was created. I'll explain how he got this form later. But Bleak started out as this freak of nature. He was basically like he's basically a demon, so he comes from another realm. He comes from like this desolated, like desert-like, dead dimension, something like that. I still haven't to come up with a name for that dimension. He starts out as this freak of nature. He's like got this. completely distorted, twisted body. He's like you can't even make out what he is. He's got a missing jaw, for example. He's got like half of an arm on one side, a long arm on the other side, one wing on the right, half a leg missing. He's got like complete, mangled corpse, walking corpse, basically. And yeah, you can basically say he was like created by nature by mistake, by his dimension. So he just wanders around basically with no purpose. He has nothing. He's got nothing better to do than to just walk around or basically limp at this point. And his power, basically his power is just so immense that his body can't take it, and that kind of explains why he's mangled. And he just completely annihilates all the other creatures that live in that dimension, who are perfectly fine. They've all got 4 sets of limbs, they've all got 4 sets of teeth, 4 sets of everything. Like they're complete. He's the only one that's mangled and completely distorted. But despite that, he's able to just eradicate them all. This is basically how he lived his life back in his dimension. And through some weird coincidence, like through some weird circumstances, he was able to create this portal that led him to Sonic's universe. And he was still in that complete distorted shape. Like even when he came to Sonic's universe, he was just a mess. He was still the same mess as he started out. And basically, his power was just radiating everywhere, where Eggman was able to pick it up. He was able to detect that Bleak was around, and he intercepted Bleak basically and met him. And Eggman basically made him an offer, which was, he would give him a new body, a completely new body to like fix his whole mangled condition, and he would at the same time give him a purpose to live for, basically, because Bleak at this point was just like everything meant nothing. He was like, lost, basically. And so it took Eggman like several months to basically develop this body that would not only be able to house such immense power, and just basically to be stable. Because let's say, for example, he would make the first prototype and the arm would explode, for example. He would make a second prototype, the leg would explode. So it took him like basically several months to finally complete this new form, Bleak's new form. And I'm thinking of maybe incorporating like some of Gerald's old like schematics, like what he used to create Shadow, basically, because they both have like the same body structure, like the same. Like he's not mechanical, he's not cybernetic. Him and Shadow are basically like made the same way. Yeah. So, and several months later, Bleak's new body was made, and that's just the way. That's just how he was. That's how he came to be, and he's just started serving Eggman from then on. From that moment.
Oh, cool. That's an interesting story. Here, I want to show you something over Discord. This is this is what Sebastian really looks like off surface. If I can find it. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Oh, there it is.
Oh wow. Yeah, I am not willing to mess with something like that. Nope. Which dimension is he from? What reality is this from?
He's an entity. That depends. No one knows exactly how old he is, because basically in his story he was born at the dawn of time, so no one can really pinpoint his age. And he's basically the ruler of hell.
So basically Satan.
Yeah, Satan, but at the same time not Satan. let's see. He's got his brother, which is the ruler of heaven. In this fantasy world, they're kind of equal in power. They hate each other.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. So, well, his brother is up in his wonderland. Sebastian usually walks among the surface land, um, among Mobians or whatever other dimension that he decides to go to. Uh, it's kind of that way where he can willingly go to different dimensions and universes and that kind of thing.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
that's really interesting, actually.
yeah, he does make dealings with other mortals. But yeah, if you want to implement him in your story, that's fine.
Yeah,
If you,
sure. I could probably find some. I could probably find a way to like sort of add him in there in some way or another.
yeah, and I'm glad I'm
Actually,
not the only one that likes bats.
yeah, actually, yeah, and the bat design is again inspired by Ulquiorra. So, because he has two forms that are basically like bats. Fun fact, actually, about Bleak. When it comes to ages, I chose to um, give him the age of 666, basically 666 years old.
Oh, that fits.
Yeah, at first it was going to be 1666, but then I thought, nah, just ruin it. You know what? Keep the three sixes.
All
So
right.
yeah,
Now, a lot of people are asking, how are you How are you today? So,
yeah, fine.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, we're good. We cool. We chilling.
We're chilling, we vibing, boy.
We're vibing.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Okay. Now, another question. What exactly is his connection to Amy? Since I've seen how the comic is going.
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking me this actually, and yeah. So, what his connection to Amy is? So as a lot of you have seen, the comic starts out with Amy having this nightmare about this like hellish bat figure destroying everyone and basically killing all her friends, and like she's like the last one alive, and all that sort of stuff. So she's been having these nightmares for like uh, I don't know, I forgot how long actually. I think it was a week or something, and she's been like having these constant nightmares about the same thing, the same figure haunting her, like during their nightmares. And so she just writes it off as a dream. Like she has no idea what's going to happen. So basically, so the first issue is like, she wakes up from the nightmare. She just goes about her day as usual. Tails tells her he's picking up some weird signals, which do end up being Bleak's power signals at the end. So yeah, there's a disturbance in Windmill Village. Sonic goes to investigate. He fights Metal Sonic. Bleak shows up, and once Amy lays her eyes on Bleak, basically that's it. It's she realizes that everything she's been dreaming of is not a dream, and there's something seriously wrong going on. Like all hell's gonna break loose, and she starts losing her mind. It's like her worst nightmare is gonna come true, and she's not about to let that happen. Bleak at this point doesn't even know who she is. He doesn't even know her. He's never met her. He's never seen her like through anything. Um, and basically, there will be this certain point where Amy and the rest of the resistance are like fighting these superpower badniks, which which are basically powered up by Bleak's own energy, and the way he does that will be revealed later on. It's kind of a weird way to do things, but yeah. So basically, there's these like egg pawns attacking a village that are super powered. So even Shadow basically couldn't fend them off. So Amy, remembering what she saw in the nightmares, ends up charging headfirst, putting herself in danger basically. And while she was doing that and nearly getting killed in the process, Bleak and Eggman were watching back from back from whatever base they were in at the time. And Bleak basically that her actions basically catch Bleak's attention because he doesn't know what emotions are. He doesn't understand the whole concept of like, putting yourself in harm's way to protect others. He knows none of that. So her actions catch his attention, and it's from then on he just starts investigating, like, who is she? What's making her do this? Why this and why that and why? And he just starts asking so many questions to the point where he does end up kidnapping Amy at one point. And this is like getting closer to like let's just say like the final third of the story. Basically, he ends up kidnapping her, and like he starts questioning her. He's not hostile to her in any way. He's trying to understand what sort of force is driving her. Well, this mysterious force that he doesn't know. He's trying to figure out why she would do such a thing. And when she tells him about, well, she doesn't tell him about the heart, first of all, because she doesn't think about that. He hasn't got a heart, so he wouldn't understand anyway. But yeah, she does mention the heart at one point, and he starts questioning it. He's like, what's the heart? Why? What is this? You weird mortals believe in stuff that I don't get. It's gonna lead you to your downfall, and it's useless, and blah blah blah. And I mean, all this. There are some opinions that are going to change later on, but yeah, that's basically why he was drawn to her. It was that one fight with the egg pawns that he was watching that just caught his eye and was like, yeah, something's not right here. I got to investigate.
I see. Well, not once have I ever realized that Amy always goes in head first blindly. Right? Hey, she's
Yeah, well,
crazy,
no,
dude.
yeah, no. In this case, basically it's because of what she saw in the nightmare. She's worrying that that's what's going to happen. Like everyone's going to be killed, and so she's not willing to let that happen. She's willing to do anything to just. At first, she even like tells Sonic to not go and fight him. Like she tries to stop him from leaving HQ. Like leaving Resistance HQ, but of course all fails. So she insists that she comes with him and with everyone else. And basically, as soon as they see the bandits coming, she just Leroy Jenkins towards them, basically.
Oh, well, that's Amy for you.
Yep. That's good old Amy.
Yep. Oh. So you're rebooting the comic.
Yep.
So why
page 6?
Yep. Why reboot it when it comes to issue?
Well, yeah. So when I first started, I started like how you say. I started sketching all the pages first. I finished all 22 pages. All of them were sketched, and I posted them all on Twitter. I posted them all on DeviantArt. I posted them all on DeviantArt as well. And I was willing to just start, and making doing the line art one by one page at a time. And at the time, I was using this app that isn't actually meant for like that sort of stuff. It was an animation app. It was Toon Boom Animate Pro, I believe, or Harmony 17. Harmony 17. Toon Boom Harmony 17. That was the one I was using, and it's an animation app, and it uses vectors, like basically like Adobe Illustrator. So, and I don't have this. I didn't have a how do you say this drawing tablet at the time. So every line I made with the mouse was just like this extremely linear line, and the colors were just extremely flat, and all the shading was like it didn't look like someone like drew it. It just looked like a computer it just looked like computer generated it, and a lot of people said like it just looked too clean, and they probably saw it in a good way, but to me it just looked way too artificial. It looked way too linear, way too clean, basically. So I thought, you know what? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So I decided, you know what? I'm willing to change how I do things. I started looking for new apps. I started contacting other Twitter users, trying to find, like the best app to use. Some suggested Photoshop, some suggested Clip Paint Studio. In the end, I settled for Paint Tool Sci 2. Yeah, that was it. Paint Tool Sci 2, and I just started getting used to, like using different brushes and such. Fun fact, by the way, all of the pages I've done so far, and all the artwork I've posted so far, that's all been done by mouse.
Damn.
Like, yeah, I finally got a drawing tablet from someone, but I have never been able to get used to it ever.
The
I still
drawing
use a
tablet.
mouse. Yeah, I still use a mouse to this day.
Yeah, I got a drawing tablet, but I gotta look at what drawing. So using this drawing tablet is a very very complicated for me deal for me because I have to when I make like a drawing, I'm like looking down as my pencil's on the thing, but when I'm using my drawing tablet, I'm just looking at this big black surface. I'll have to look up at the screen. I'm like, okay, I need a canvas or something. Uh,
Yeah,
that
it's the
or
same here. It's the same. It's the same tablet I use basically. I think it's a Wacom tablet. I think. Yeah, I'm sure it's a Wacom tablet. I don't know. One of my friends gave it to me basically. Yeah.
yeah. One of my friends says he continued to make practice. I'm like, oh, I tried, and I just can't get these lines straight. Uh,
I'm sure it would have been better if it was like one of those tablets with the screen where
yeah,
you can actually see what you're doing.
yeah, would have been a much better. Uh, I'm going to get back into art. Okay. Oh, by the way, how is Metal Sonic's cannon arm coming along?
Yeah, I still haven't begun. Like, I have come up with a few designs for it, sketches, but I haven't actually started adding them to the page yet. Still trying to figure out which is the best approach. I mean, it'll be something really similar to what we did the first time. The gun hand, the one that looks like the AK-47.
Yeah,
That sort of approach.
I can see why you're doing different doodles. Got options.
Yeah. And I'm trying to find something that would look like so basically something that would look like something Eggman would make. So I even went back to see, like what they used for Omega's guns, like like his machine guns, and just trying to see like if there's a certain theme going around, like maybe all of Eggman's guns like have a certain shape to them, maybe they have some sort of like bulky design, or maybe I was just trying to figure out what would work best and what would suit Metal Sonic at the same time, you know. But yeah, that's still a work in progress.
That's good. All right. Now, let's see here. The voice of Bleak you wanted similar to that character in Bleach.
Yeah. I don't know if I think the video's still up. The one where you, Yeah, I actually uploaded a video to Twitter once. I forgot how long it was, but I just basically added this picture of Bleak and added some voice lines from Ulquiorra on top of it. And yeah, I think it's still up.
I think
I can send you.
it's
I can send you some
on your
voice lines if you
Instagram
want.
as well. Oh, wait.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
sure,
is.
go ahead.
Okay, let me just quickly look that up. And I do not like it when my tabs keep snoozing. Opera has this weird thing of putting my tabs on snooze. It's the wrong video. Let's see. Ulquiorra English dub. Of course, I went for the English dub. I mean, even the sub's not bad. Come to think of it. Let's see. So, let's see. I can't really seem. I can't really seem to find the video I'm looking for, but maybe it's this one. Let's have a look. Yeah, something similar to this. Send it on Discord.
All right.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, and yeah, actually, it is on Instagram. I think I did add it there. Nice. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on Instagram as well. So yeah, when it comes to his voice, I sort of wanted it to be something like, something dark and sinister.
The first is. Ah, yes, something dark and sinister.
Yeah, something similar to that, basically.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh god, my voice.
Exactly, something dark and sinister.
Nah,
Sorry, I had to.
no, that's actually perfect. That is actually how I wanted it to sound. That is brilliant.
Because you wanted Bleak to be such a dark character. I love his
Resemble his
design.
nihilism.
I love his design, I tell you that.
Actually, you can probably see, if you've seen Ulquiorra now, you can probably see the resemblance.
Yeah, I
in
can see the
some
resemblance,
aspects,
but yeah, I see it.
I mean, of course, I had to make a few changes, otherwise people would be like, oh look, oh it's Ulquiorra in Sonic form, and despite that, people actually look at Bleak and be like, and go like, oh look, cool, it's Ulquiorra in Sonic form, and even his transformation, it's similar. It's people could immediately like the people who know Bleach and who've seen Ulquiorra and seen his transformation and seen everything. They all know. The minute they look at Bleak, they're like, oh cool, it's Ulquiorra. But yeah. And they have reason to believe that, yeah.
I think some people have figured that out.
Yeah, I'd say, I'd say the majority of people have actually figured that out, especially on DeviantArt. DeviantArt's just full of people who love Bleach.
Oh, I have yet to watch it. Is it any good?
I mean, the first season is a bit meh, but as you get into like the Soul Society arc, and then especially later in the Aranka arc, which is where Ulquiorra shows up. I think my favorite arc is the Aranka arc. It's like the one just before the end, or it's basically the arc just before the end. I think that's where Bleach peaks for me. And there's another arc actually coming out later this year, October.
So
It's
arcs are
the
late.
it's the basically the anime adaptation of of the manga because the manga's already finished. So yeah.
Oh, cool. I'll have to check it out. People keep talking about it, and I'm like, I haven't seen that, and I was like, I'll go see it. I still
But now
haven't
that
seen it.
no, it's a fun watch. It is. At first, maybe the first few episodes would be a bit meh, but then as you get into the story, it actually does become really. It becomes really interesting. There are some characters you can root for. Some characters, like in my case, it was all Kyoto that just caught my eye. And I'm like, whoa, I love that character.
Yeah, I
But
can
yeah,
see why.
he's edgy, and he has no right to be that edgy. To be honest, he has no business being that edgy.
You have no right to be that edgy.
Same as Infinite, basically. Like when I first saw Infinite in Sonic Forces, I'm like, what? Like that's so cool. His design is amazing. I love it. Infinite's one of my favorite characters from the series, like from
Oh,
Sonic.
I love Infinite as well. I don't get it. Like, people are like, got this, like, they either love him or they hate him.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think why a lot of people hate him is for two main reasons. I think maybe the first reason is because, well, he's associated with Sonic Forces. So when people think Infinite, they think Sonic Forces. So it's like instant, instant regret, basically. And I think the second reason is his backstory, I'd say.
Yeah,
Like,
they don't really give too much detail about his backstory.
yeah, I think basically they summed it up as Infinite gets beaten up by Shadow, he gets cold and weak, he decides to join Eggman, and voila, he's no longer weak. I think that's how a lot of people sum it up. That's how a lot of people see it, and they just think it's weak storytelling.
Yeah, they don't really go
Yeah,
too far into it.
yeah, but when it comes to design, I think they nailed the design. To be honest.
My design is absolutely perfect.
Oh, hi Infinite. When did you get here?
I've always been here.
Okay, William Afton. I gotta get myself one of those voice changes.
uh, yeah, I recently got it. It's it's fun.
Oh yeah, you'll have to send me a link to that. I've been thinking of getting it for ages. I watch a lot of YouTubers who use, and I'm like, God, I need that.
Oh, sure thing. It's worth it. It's just not as free as they say it is.
Oh no.
But yeah, they got a good sale. It's like you can either get it with a subscription where you pay so much a month, or you can just pay this much, and you'll get it forever for just that one-time payment.
I see. Anyway,
All right. Now, does anyone in the audience have any question for HT Doodles? Say, Zane, hi, how are you? How's your day been? How's your day been, by the way?
yeah, it's been good so far. It's been pretty normal, like most of my days.
So good, because it's still morning for me.
It's 5 p. It's wait, no, what is it? It's 37 past 5. Yeah. Yep. 6 hour gap.
Well, it may be in the 6-hour gap, but still. Find a way.
Yeah, I think we found our sweet spot.
Yep. I mean, I know some people where it's a 7-hour gap, which makes it very difficult because by the time it's like 3 p.m., it'd be midnight for them. And like, well, damn. All right. So, let's see if we got some just enough time. if he's got time. All right. But yeah, I love Bleak's design. It's not overly complicated, but it is got that look to it that people love.
Yeah, I have gotten a few comments about that actually. When I think I made this post about like you know, what would basically, I think it was like make a comment about my OC or something like that. And a lot of people were like, oh, his design is simplistic, but it's cool, and it's not overly complicated, not overly detailed, not overly this. And basically, when I make a character, I try to what I first think of is I want a design that could potentially appear in a future Sonic game. Like if this character appeared in a Sonic game, I wouldn't be like, God, why does he look like that? Why is he so jarring? No, I want basically a design that would fit in with the rest of the Sonic cast. You know, he wouldn't look like a sore thumb. So far, I think he looks. I think he looks good. I don't think he's overly. You know, I don't think he's overly complicated or anything. And a lot of people seem to agree.
Yeah, I agree. My character, his design. He went through several designs. Oh boy, how to explain his design? I would say he more or less evolved and kind of got redesigned because well, yeah, he was redesigned, but he also kind of got evolved into what you see as the bat you see now.
Yeah.
This is what he used to look like.
Let's have a look. Oh, yeah. That's Sebastian the Hedgehog with wings,
Yeah,
with eagle wings, the hybrid.
yeah, that was his very first design. So like, why not give a hedgehog wings? I always enjoyed flying because when I go on road trips, the airplane rides are very fun. Oh, and we got our Orbot VA.
Oh,
Hello, Spud Ninja.
Hey, everybody.
hello.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm just doing all right. I'm just going through my channel and just updating updating the descriptions of my videos currently because switching to a new email address and stuff.
Well, do you have any questions for our friend here?
Well, like I said in the chat, apart from how the rebooted comic will will differ from the chapter one currently out. Yeah, right now I'm just drawing a blank.
Oh. So basically, what he's saying is the reboot going to be any different than the one you already have?
Well, there are going to be a few things changed. Yeah, like in the very first version of the comic, Cream wasn't in there. She wasn't involved, but now I've sort of added her in. That's one difference. And I mean the art style's completely changed, so that's one of the first differences. And what else? But whether I'll change any of the events, I think Silver might be getting a beatdown in the first issue this time.
Don't tell Blingy that.
Yeah, no, he got it. He got it light in the first version. He basically wasn't punched in the face or anything. But this time I think things are going to be different.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it.
As am I.
All right.
By the way,
So-
I want to say thank you for everyone who has, worked on the fan dub of the comic. I am, to this day, I am really, really, really like happy with it, and just thank you everyone. Seriously, like sincere, just thank you. I don't really know how to, like express it.
It was my
And
pleasure.
almost the video we did, the comic dub, or
Yep.
did you said fan dub or fan dumb?
Oh,
No,
right.
no, dub. Fan dub.
Fan dub,
DUB.
okay.
Dub.
Oh, the comic dub. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, the comic dub.
Actually, funny story about that. When I first, it was like, I don't know, a year and a half ago when I first came across Bleak Circumstances, like, oh, this looks cool. Like back then I was like, should I contact this artist or should I not? I was very nervous, so I kind of
And
like,
now I'm on your podcast.
so I was
Fast
like very
forward to
nervous, so
present day.
I kind of left it alone for a bit. Then I'm like, oh, at some point I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna toughen up and actually ask the artist this time. The only way I
I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
This way the heck not. If I get a yes, I get a yes. I get a no, I get a no. You politely said yes, and I am very grateful for that.
Yep, I'm so glad I did. Yeah, I'm basically open to these things. I don't have any strict rules or anything. The only thing I have strict rules about is basically people drawing fan art of Bleak, and especially it's basically fan art that puts him out of character. Since
Right. Yeah.
Especially when it comes to quote unquote romantic scenes between him and Amy, or between him and other characters like other OCs or something. I have strict rules about that, but other than that, anyone's free to dub the comic, anyone's free to draw fan art, anyone's free to do whatever they want.
So basically, it's kind of a free for all as long as you're credited, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I'm also just
Right, let's see here. Do I have...
yeah, I was also I keep losing my train of thought, sorry. I'm also very grateful. I'm also very grateful that Yoshi, that Noah actually approached me to voice Orbot in this. So I thought, great. I had to get a voice Orbot in this because I'm usually Qbot, funnily enough.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right.
Well, I've got to say, you really did a good job on that. I've got to admit, it's really your voice. You really nailed it. You nailed the part, basically.
Right. Thanks. Like the thing I was worried about was just getting the robotic filter down, because I know so many other voice actors who actually have the the technology to actually get the filter down, but I had the most basic software for it, so all I do is just put a high pass filter over it, then just add a slight echo effect, and then just hope for the best.
It definitely worked. Yep.
It definitely worked.
Right.
The whole screen glitchy thing.
His eyes.
Because basically, I don't know if you've noticed, but when I added the screen filter over Bleak, I basically cut out the part of the filter that was covering his eyes, so his eyes do not change color whatsoever, no matter what conditions he's in, whether he's being filmed by some grainy camera, whether he's appearing in this different colored room, or whether he's it doesn't matter what conditions he's in, his eyes always stay the same color, even if his body completely changes lighting or something like that. His eyes don't change.
So it's kind of like how vampires don't have reflections at all, or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's something like that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just in case anyone didn't get what she was talking about when she said what's wrong with the screen. And I think it's more clear when he actually looks at her. You can see his eyes are just the exact same color as if you were just looking at him directly.
Right. So it really is a creepier version of the "you think you're safe" meme.
Yep.
It's very sinister.
Yeah,
That
and
actually-
I think another bird. Sorry.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. I was about to say that actually is pretty neat.
Yeah, I think another thing about him is that he's sinister and everything, and he looks terrifying and all that to all the other characters. But the thing is, he doesn't actually mean to be sinister or look sinister. That's just how he looks. But when he's looking at you, he's basically just looking at you. Like, he's not meaning to scare you or meaning to look menacing in any way, you know.
He's just got that.
That's excellent.
He's just got that stare. He's got that look.
He's got that thing about him.
Who is this Bleak?
I know who I'm taking out on a date tonight.
I could just imagine it being like, oh, what? I was like, he just stares at the screen, and then someone who just so happens to be looking at the screen is just like, that's okay, I didn't need sleep.
You'll be like, I'm heading off to bed. Never mind.
Good. Well, quite frankly, I'm.
Oh, no, sorry, I was just talking to myself. Sorry.
Quite frankly, I'm out of questions.
Does anyone from the chat have any questions, perhaps?
I would probably, just ask the obligatory, what was the, I keep losing my train of thought. I'm sorry.
I'm guessing it's going to be the inspiration for Bleak, isn't it?
I mean, not for Bleak, because I think that was already answered earlier, I believe.
It's true.
I was about to say, what exactly inspired you to actually start, doing a comic like this?
I was inspired by manga in the previous years. I used to read a lot of manga, so I was inspired by that. And then once I found out that the IDW Sonic comics existed, I started reading through those. And it was basically comics and music, because just having music in your ears and just imagining all sorts of scenarios, all sorts of like fight scenes and stuff like that. I mean, I could just go for a walk, have music in my ears, and come back with like 5-6 different ideas at a time. See what sticks and see what works, see what doesn't. That's basically how I came up with the general idea for the comic, and then I started moving on to like certain details, like what would happen in this scene, what would happen if I changed what this character did, how would it affect everything else, and that sort of stuff. I think that's pretty much what inspired me to start making a comic of this scale, I'd say. So it's basically comics, like IDW comics, and music.
Well, they definitely gave you quite the comic. I can give you that. A really great comic.
Oh, thanks.
Yep.
So far I'm loving it. Literally.
Same here.
It's got
I'm so glad a lot of people are finding it interesting.
Yeah. It's got that type of story that you can't really find everywhere. It's different. It's original. And that's kind of
it's sort of original, because it is inspired a lot by, there are some aspects that I'm inspired a lot by Bleach, but there are a lot of how do you say, I basically took my liberty with this story. I changed a lot of things. I've changed a lot of scenarios. I've come up with my own scenarios. So I basically just mixed it up. It's like this whole, spaghetti bowl of both ideas that already existed and ideas that I just made up.
So it's a mixture.
Yeah, it's a mixture.
Oh,
So I won't say it's 100% original. Maybe 80, something like that. Yeah.
Well, still, it's very, very interesting.
Pretty good, actually. Yeah.
There's a lot of settings here.
Okay, thank God I'm done now.
Oh, that sounded edgy.
Oh. Oh no, I just like went through like all my videos and I just like updated the descriptions for my with my my current email address, and I'm just like there's like a lot to go through, and like I'm finally done now. So it's like
I think we had a nice. All right. Well, I'm out of questions, but do you have any more questions? Anyone in chat?
All 9 of you. And, oh what? Oh, Wyatt's here. Oh hey.
Hey Wyatt, how you doing?
Did not. Well, to be fair, I've actually been like on the StreamYard tab for a while, and I haven't really like looked at the chat very much, so I actually had no idea to play with you. But hey, Wyatt.
Oh, hail the king, baby.
Yep.
Hear the key.
Oh,
Okay. So let's see. Are there any other locations? Actually, I do have one other question, I believe. I think I just thought of this one. Are there any other locations from the Sonic series? You know, doesn't have either the games, the comics, whatever, what have you, that will make an appearance within Bleak Circumstances as well.
So let me see. I'll have to make a list of locations soon, but so the first location that makes an appearance, of course, is Windmill Village. You've got Resistance HQ, and then I think starting from issue 2, there might be. Let's see. There's definitely going to be a lot of villages like appearing in this. I'll have to look up some more, like some different villages from the Sonic universe, or maybe even come up with my own at one point.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. Actually, what was that level from Sonic Unleashed? The one in China. What was that place called?
Shunan, I believe.
Yeah. I think it's that. I think there's going to be a village from that actually making an appearance.
Right.
Because there's a certain OC that I added to the story who I'd say you could say it's like from that area. I'd say. Who else? Right, so we've got that area. There'll be probably a lot more villages, and I'm still trying to figure out which base I want Eggman to be in.
Right.
I was considering Arsenal Pyramid at first. I'm still
Considering it.
Yep, still considering it. Yeah.
Right.
This question has been asked a few times already.
Yeah. Right.
What got you imitated? Yeah, it was. Like I said earlier, it was basically manga, IDW comics, and music. These 3 things combined, just basically, they did give me a lot of inspiration to make this. And actually, I've just been able to get the chat up. I had no idea I could do that. I had no idea I could do that. I just realized I could bring the chat up here on the sides. Yeah. So we got Steel the Hedgehog, Shinobi, HT.
Well, as a sort of add-on to my previous question, not really. Well, this one's not really a question, but it's more, just a sort of like footnote.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering. Not wondering. I was also curious if areas for more obscure areas, more obscure games that I should make an appearance as well.
I'm sorry, I couldn't. I had a bit of interference. I think the internet is a bit janky. Anyway, I think it should be all right now.
Right.
Yeah. So what was your question again? Sorry.
It was more of an sort of addendum, or sort of, well, not really addendum, but it's more of a sort of, footnote to to the previous question I asked. But some part of me actually does kind of, some part of me does sort of hope I would have, well, not hope, but I think it would be pretty neat if we actually saw more obscure areas from the series as well, from more obscure titles.
Yeah. I have been considering adding a lot of like references or like Easter eggs, basically, in the comic. I don't know if this is considered an Easter egg or not, but I don't know if you remember in Sonic 06 with Silver's basically with Silver's powers and his the cuffs, around his legs and
Right?
and wrists. Yeah. I don't know. I've noticed this, but I've noticed that whenever he doesn't use his powers, his cuffs actually close up. They like, those two parts just like stick together. And I decided to bring that feature back because I think it's quite cool, actually. And they open up whenever he uses his powers. The same thing with his hair, actually. I realized that whenever he uses his powers, his like the quills at the top of his head just sort of like widen up. They like spread open.
Right. I think in like a concept art for Silver, I think his hair was only supposed to like stand up like at all if he actually uses his powers, I believe. But his quills are actually just like slicked backwards when they're not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I think. But I think over time, the people just got used to him with like open quills, so that just became the standard
With them just being
design. I
fanned
think.
out, I guess.
Yep.
Right.
And other than that, so that's one thing I wanted to bring back. What else? As for any obscure references, I'm still trying to look for some. Because I mean, it would be pretty cool, to be honest. It would actually.
Right.
Would be pretty cool to do that. And that's it, I think. Yeah.
Well, I think should we call it good here?
I mean, if you want to. I mean, I have nothing. I pretty much like I said, I'm pretty much off till tomorrow, so I'm like,
Yeah.
I can stay for as long as you want, honestly.
True, but I personally need to catch up on some sleep.
Well, the king needs his sleep. Am I right?
That just reminds me of the freaking Knuckles Rouge comic.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna wrap it up here anyway. Thank you, HT Doodles, for joining us today.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, thank you, Spud Ninja, for joining us, and thank you both for having me. Basically.
Yep, no problem.
Sure.
So, y'all, thank you for watching. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and all that stuff, and I'll leave a link to Spud Ninja's channel as well as HT Doodles social networking. So
I'll have to like as soon as I enter the chat.
Yeah. Okay. Y'all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. See you.
I'll see you guys
See you
later.
soon. See you soon, guys.
See you.